We shall be talking about clinical trials. So what are clinical trials? Clinical trials are conducted by pharmaceutical companies in order to be able to determine if a drug can serve as the next therapeutic medications to be able to treat the disease. Now, the study quality of any clinical trials is best when it's often randomized, controlled, double-blinded study, which means both the doctor or the patient or even the researcher, in case of triple-blinded study, are not even aware of what medication is being given and is being studied. So there are 4 phases before a drug can eventually reach the market.
Sympathetic nervous system activated. Sleep schedule missing. Brain offline. But me, I'm out here cramming nephrology like I didn't just waste 3 hours doom scrolling memes. Didn't Dr. Didn't Dr. Addition explain this? That one video where it actually makes sense. I gotta find it. Wait, where's the video? Where is the playlist? Why did I not subscribe?
In phase 1, let's say we are studying the drug X, okay? To put any drug. Phase 1, we test the drug on healthy volunteers. Why do we trust testing on healthy volunteers? Because they have the most probability of surviving the drug because they are healthy. So this is on a small number of patients that are healthy. Say, hey, we have a new drug that's coming out. Please, we want you guys to try it out. But what we are looking at is to test the safety. Is the drug safe for human beings to ingest? What is the pharmacokinetics of the drug? And also the pharmacodynamics. So we want to know what is the half-life of the drug, what's the volume of distribution of the drug. We want to know the mechanism of action of the drug in this phase 1 of the clinical trial. Once the researcher determines these parameters in the study sample, we now move on to phase 2. In phase 2, now we increase the number of people we are studying to the diseased population, right? So let's say patients that have coronary artery disease, and we want to study the effect of aspirin, okay? Like if you take aspirin, does it decrease mortality? Hey, real quick, if you're watching this video and you are serious about passing your USMLE Step 1 or crushing your USMLE Step 2 CK Step 3, listen, I have a free USMLE masterclass for you. Listen, this is not for everyone, but if you're tired of scrolling through endless YouTube videos and reading through many textbooks and you don't understand your USMLE concepts, I've got a free USMLE masterclass. We are going to break down step by step exact strategy that I have personally used to be able to pass my USMLE and also match into residency. Inside this free USMLE masterclass bootcamp, I'm going to train you with USMLE study strategies that I'm not going to share on this channel, and also the exact strategy you can use to answer any USMLE questions. And I'm going to be giving a free workbook that comes with this USMLE bootcamp, where we're going to be covering multiple different subjects and how I personally actually answer USMLE questions for free. All you simply have to do is grab a copy of the book right now by clicking the link below in this description below and be able to register for that free USMLE bootcamp. It's 100% free. All I need to do right now is click the link below, get inside access to all my own personal study strategies that I've used to help thousands of students pass the USMLE. Click the link, grab that book, and also join the masterclass for free.
My name is Nayeli Clark. I am from Belize, but I studied in Mexico in the university. It's a Spanish university called Universidad de Montemorelos. And I remember I had a hard time. I would study with UWorld, with AMBUS, first aid, and somehow I felt like my mind was all over the place. And I felt like I needed coaching, like someone to teach me, what I need to, the concepts to apply in the question banks. One day I was scrolling and you have a 10 minutes webinar, you always do. And I was like, let me go. This doctor is convincing me. He looks like he motivates students too. I applied for I think it was 1 week or 5 days, the free. I did that one and I was like, whoa, I need this. Like, this is good. Because I remember I went to other doctors who were doing coaching, but they never gave me a free webinar or free teachings to see how it will go. And I felt this was the right one for me. And that's how I found you on Facebook. And ever since then, I really liked that the master course, it stayed recorded. So every time I would rewatch it, I think I rewatched it like 2 to 3 times. Every time I would rewatch it, I would learn more and more as I kept going studying. So it did help me a lot. Sometimes I would even laugh because I already know the jokes you were going to give in the class, and it was fun. My experience, I remember I bought the master course last year. I don't remember what month, to be honest. And I remember you'd say that, like, for us, IMG, sometimes it takes more than what someone from here would take, especially if you are already a graduate, you know? And I really liked that because one time I went with another doctor and he told me how long you've been preparing for it. I told him it's been like 5-6 months. And quickly he said, no, this is only 1 month prepare. I don't feel it that way because I failed the first attempt doing it on my own. And I did 1 year, but I did it without guidance, without coaching on my own, you know? I really like that you were very honest with this. You gave me assurance when you said that. So I felt comfortable. I felt like, okay, I'm not an outsider who needs to be preparing for 5, 6, or even a year, you know? So I did not feel like an outsider. I felt, okay, you know what? Dr. Adesina is saying this, so I believe there are other students who also, and he knows why he's saying this, so I feel okay. I feel comfortable. I don't feel judged. The biggest word that it came to me was integrating everything together. That is the big takeaway. I was not lost anymore. Sometimes you would even give repeats like, hey, we already saw this in nephrology. This is the same thing. You just integrate. And then my mind was expanding, was like, okay, it's the same thing. Like, needed, stop worrying. Like, it's just the same thing. And whenever I was stressing, I would remember you say, it's just everything integrated together. You know, that was the big takeaway for me. It's all in one. I started to have reassurance. My coach from Smash USMLE, she told me a little tip, and I found it like very helpful. I felt ready when I felt everything was a redundancy for me now. Like, okay, I know this. Okay, let me try an MBME. And at first I was getting 60 plus, and then I was getting 70 to 80 plus on question banks. So I started to have reassurance. Because I'm not going to lie, the first time I took step 1, I did not pass any MBMEs. My colleagues, they did not pass. They did worse than me in MBMEs, and I don't know how they did, but they passed. And I was going through anxiety, like real bad anxiety. And I took an MBME and I had 77%. So I was like, whoa, okay, I think I'm ready. Whenever my mind says I'm not ready, it's just my anxiousness, my nerves hitting me. I remember you said repetition is the master of learning. I'm still nervous because sometimes I will wake up and I'm like, I can't believe I passed. Like, it's over. Like, I remember on Reddit, a lot of people were waiting the results that day, and nobody would, like, a lot of people were like, I have not received my result. It's 12 o'clock. And I was so nervous. And I'm like, what is happening? I saw the pass. I had to like open my eyes, scratch my eyes to see if I'm seeing like what I'm seeing, because it says pass, fail, status, you know. I'm like, I see I failed, but it's not the end. So I'm like, okay. So I just screamed. I praised God. I cried. I cried like for 30 minutes, just giving thanks to God. I'm like, oh no, I need to share this to Dr. Adesina and Smash USMLE. It was one of my greatest excitement ever, like even more than graduating from medical school.
So let's say patients that have MIs, you give them aspirin. Let's say it's the drug X. We figure out the mechanism of action of aspirin. Aspirin is a COX-1 and COX-2 inhibitor, right? Works on the cyclooxygenase pathway, the arachidonic pathway. So we've known that, and now we want to find out what is the efficacy of the drug, right? It helps with pain, and we want to find what is the exact dosage of aspirin. So this is when you determine that the dose of aspirin, if you take a daily aspirin of 81 milligram of aspirin, increase of risk of thrombotic disease in the heart. Or if a patient has myocardial infarction, giving them 325 milligrams of aspirin, right, at the time they're having an acute myocardial infarction, will decrease mortality. All right, so that's when you determine the optimal dosaging And we also know what is the adverse effects of taking too much aspirin. So if patient takes too much aspirin and overdose on aspirin, they might develop tinnitus, right? They develop respiratory alkalosis and metabolic acidosis. This is when you determine all that, okay? Now, once the phase 2 is completed, where we have a smaller number of patients with the disease, we now move on to phase 3. Now, phase 3 is when we perform the large randomized control trial study. We grab over more than 10,000 participants, and what we do, we break them apart. Let's say you take 10,000 sample size, that's your study sample, and you randomly assign 5,000 people to get a placebo, another 5,000 people to get the drug X. That's large randomized control. You double blind both the physician, the investigator, and the patient from knowing who's getting the placebo or who's getting the drug. That is a large randomized study. And what you want to determine at that is to prove safety and efficacy compared to the gold standard. So whatever the gold standard was before, you want to compare if this new drug is going to be a better, okay? That's why we do randomized controlled trial. This is the stage that you need to be approved by the FDA, the Food Drug and Drug Administration, which regulates the production of drugs in America. So this is phase 3. Once a drug is now determined to be efficacious, better than the current treatment, or even decrease toxicity and is better, now once the drug is approved, they finally now move to phase 4, which is the marketing of the drug to the general public. And usually when a new drug comes out, it's very difficult to determine the long-term effect of the drug or even the rare adverse reaction that can be caused by the drug, okay? So that's very important. Over a long term, people are taking the drug, more and more side effects will be recorded and then added to the list of the side effects of the medication. And this is basically how clinical trials are being conducted and how medications are being produced for the general public consumption in order to make sure this is safe and also efficacious and become the next best treatment or better treatment or a new treatment modality for diseases as they evolve in medicine.
Thank you for watching this lecture video. I hope you enjoyed it. I would like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below about what you think about this lecture. And also, if you want to watch more lecture videos like this, click right here to watch more lecture videos like this. And don't forget to like and subscribe. You rock.